the process of change, how psychological change occurs. It's often said that it is harder to move from the conforming child directly to the free child. Most people with some form of emotional problem are conforming to some directive they received many years ago, and as a result of that they suffer a whole variety of things such as anxiety, depression, and so forth. The goal of psychotherapy is for people to release themselves from the conforming child position and move into the free child position. The free child position is where the person is no longer constrained by the messages and belief systems that they developed many years ago. It is harder to move from the conforming child to the free child. It is easier to move from the conforming child to the rebellious child and then over to the free child. What in essence that means is for someone to change psychologically, they need to go through a rebellious phase. That is a period of disruption and unrest, a period of disharmony. Now, there's nothing unusual about this. You can look at what happens in societies. Societies have revolutions. When there is significant change in a society, that can occur via a revolution. What is a revolution? A revolution is a period of considerable disruption, lack of stability, and change in the way the various societal structures operate and relate. So human personality is no different. If you take the stability, the person who's in the conforming child, and put it through a period of disruption, then there is more likely a chance that the person can reorient themselves after that period of turmoil and be more free in terms of not listening to or being controlled by early messages. So what I'm saying here is that change in psychotherapy usually occurs with, rapid change in psychotherapy usually occurs with a period of disruption. It is not really feasible to do that in a incremental, non-revolutionary type of format. That does happen, and I'll talk about that later, but the most common, I suppose, form of psychotherapy is to move from the conforming child into the rebellious and disruptive and unstable phase of the rebellious child, and then over to the free child. So it is being presented that a person is in a state more likely to achieve psychological change or some change in their belief systems and thoughts and feelings if they are in disequilibrium, if they are not in a harmonious and stable state. Sometimes when I working with clients, they may say at the end, as they're about to leave, well, I don't feel any better than when I walked in. And my usual response to that is, well, that's good. Some are of the view that psychotherapy is a happy pill, that you come along and leave happier than when you walked in. Indeed, that's what some therapists endeavor to achieve. And they set about by various means, and their goal is to make the person more relaxed and comfortable than when they walked in, perhaps in some form of anxiety or agitated state. The problem with that, to my mind, is that it's just scratching the surface. There is no deeper or more substantive changes in the personality or the person's script, if you want to use that terminology. So change is more likely when a person is in a distressed or emotional or disharmonious state. They are ready for change at that point. Indeed, many psychotherapeutic techniques set out to do that. Regressive techniques in particular take the person from the stability and the safety of the adult and to that matter parent ego state, and regress them into the child where it is more unstable and unpredictable. And as I've said before, once that is done, the person there is if the therapist knows what they're doing, they can guide the person so personality change is achieved. Indeed, this can happen spontaneously. A person who is subjected to some form of traumatic event, some life-threatening situation, an abduction, whatever it happens to be, that also is a technique, a thing that will put them into a regressed state. And they, of course, then are in a state of disharmony and distress and emotion. And of course, from that, the person will also change, and I suppose one could say change in the negative sense, because they will make decisions and conclusions in those emotional states, and the personality changes in a unhealthy or negative direction. So hopefully with psychotherapy, when the person is regressed, the outcome will be of a more positive nature, and that would seem to be the process of psychotherapy which I wish to discuss at this point. Thank you for your time.